Movie ranking.
Good evening, hello, welcome to the movie ranking. My name's Skadooosch. Hello.
Hey,
Hello.
hey.
Hello.
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 I had to turn the volume down because of the tennis.
You had to turn the volume down because of the tennis.
Unless you want to hear Rafael Nadal like grunting.
Well, I mean,
Netflix.
it is Sunday night, Anna. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to listening to an hour and a half of just Rafael Nadal grunting.
Hey, I paused my show. I'm watching Top Show.
Well, listen, I'm very, very honoured. All of you have putting aside such paramount important things such as
Such important matter.
It is indeed. How's everyone's week been? Fahad, how you been?
Week's been good, man. I'm out doing some grocery shopping right now, but I'm here.
Okay.
And I love 2toBoot, and I have missed it because I don't think we've played it in a couple of years. I'm
I
excited.
haven't played in a long time, yeah.
I was going to ask for Skadooosch, how are you and Kyle liking Shogun so far?
So I don't think everyone's seen it yet. I don't think everyone's seen Shogun. Fahad, have you caught up yet?
I have watched the first episode so far.
Oh, okay. So you've seen the first one,
Yeah.
but not the first two.
Yeah.
Okay. So no spoilers for Shogun. But Kyle, I mean, I'll pass over to you quickly, Kyle. Do you want to sum up kind of our thoughts on it?
It.
What? It's a stone cold fucking it's a classic in the making.
It's really the best show right now. I mean, every year there's like a really great new show. Like last year was Last of Us. I think that this year's, and it's what's so good about it. It's not on HBO because usually HBO has like the best shows, but here, this is on FX and it's or Hulu, and it's great to see it go on cable TV still deliver.
Very, very basic.
Just the first scene itself, you could see that, there was some money spent there. But you know what I thought it was, Skadooosh? I've been watching like a Cronenberg movie for the last 3 days, like single movie every day. And you know how Cronenberg movies are. Dude, that one death scene in Shogun, I think pretty much beats all the hard to watch things from Cronenberg movies. That shit is horrible, dude.
Have you had a chance to see, Carl? We dissect. Oh, that's not the greatest.
Let's not use that word for real.
Yeah, no. We analyze that scene in some detail, but I think Carl and I said it as well. I haven't seen anything as bad or as upsetting as that. And I guess maybe as well, I didn't expect it. Like, there's some pretty. I tell you what, actually, I tell you the last time it happened to me. But this is where something transcends from just being upset of something you see in a movie or in a television show or something like that. This actually really psychologically upset me. It was the Game of Thrones episode. Is it the Scorpion?
The Red Wedding?
No. It's the mountain and the snake.
The second. Oh yeah, with the eyes.
Yeah, the eyes.
Season 3, episode 8.
That's it. By the end of that episode, I was genuinely angry, furious at HBO, at anyone who ever made that for what they had done to me. Like usually you have quite a thick skin and you can suspend your disbelief. The experience of watching the end of that episode and what happens to Pedro Pascal with the eyes, it scarred me. Actually scarred me, and I think the scene of Shogun. The scene of Shogun comes close to that.
Was that his first big role?
It was the one which kind of launched him, I think, into most people's. That's
where he got well known. But Skadooosh, what? It wasn't the visual of the death itself that kind of stuck with me. It was the scream and that little child trying to close her ears. That shit just.
I mean, in the books, it is amazingly written. It's very rhythmical, and he's just repeating, like in the show, he's just repeating, you killed her, you murdered her, you raped.
Yes. Yeah.
Like he's repeating that mantra, and in a split of a second, he's done.
Mladen, I love you. I love you to bits. I don't want to talk. I genuinely don't want to talk because I don't want to think about it. Because how much it hurt me emotionally. That scene. How much it hurt me. I don't have the capacity for it right now.
The levels of that pain are humongous.
Absolutely. Like I was fucked up for days. Genuinely, that I remember going into work and someone asked me what was wrong. Paul and Helen said Game of Thrones, and they went,
Hello.
Hey, double bubble.
Double bubble.
Double bubble. How are you both?
Not too bad. I watched the good movie YouTube channel earlier on today.
Did you?
Talking about something called Shogun. Two very pretty boys talking about it for a long time.
I did. I hate to do it this early on, but he's here and he might pop out. But when I put up the picture of Adam Sandler earlier, I then I looked at Kyle, and then I looked at Adam Sandler, and I looked at Kyle. I looked at Adam Sandler. I was like, he's a young, better-looking Adam Sandler. 2toBoot. For anyone who hasn't played this game before, which I think everyone pretty much has, it is very, very simple. I would give you 3 actors, and your job is to get rid of 2 of them. Boot 2 of them, and when you do boot those 2, the 2 that you boot, every movie they have ever been in, even if it's a cameo, will be permanently deleted from history. Okay, so that leaves you with 1. Okay, so this is how the game works. This is not a game about who is your favorite actor. This is not about who is the best actor. This is not about which actor has the most awards. The name of this game is which of these 3 actors has the most movies that you can't live without. That's it, in a nutshell. There is one caveat. If there are crossovers in which same actors have been in the same movie, just consider them kept. All right? But I'm not going down. Remember, admin, not my cup of tea. So that's it. Okay? So that's how we go. 3 for this evening are Shaw and Astin. Oh, yeah, I mean, we don't have anyone from the West Country, do we, who's ever come to this space? I don't think. Have we, Paul? Hello?
You're the closest. Well, it's maybe
it's
maybe in between me and you, really.
Right. Well. So just for other people, the West Country is where you get this accent. All right. It depends where you are exactly. If the further down you go, to like right down into the western corner of the south of England, this is how they talk.
No, look with that swan, then.
Yeah, no, exactly. If you want it, hot fuzz, that is your reference point. Okay, for a perfect West Country accent. Sean Astin gets close to it. But it doesn't matter because listen, it's Samwise Gamgee, okay? So if you're going to be losing Sean Astin tonight, you will be losing forever all of the Lord of the Rings movies. You will be losing you'll be losing the Goonies. All right. So for many of us, that is a part of our childhood that will instantly disappear. For anyone, if you haven't seen it, there's a movie he's in called Toy Soldiers. Again, 1991. Absolute banger. I need to rewatch that actually, or actually, I'm perhaps a little bit scared. Also stars Michael Wincott, I believe, as well. Ryla.
The great Adam Sandler classic, 50 First Dates.
Okay. Well, we obviously depends how we go with that. But obviously, there is some crossover with Sandler. Ryla loved, and I still admit I've never seen it. Rudy, I know that is a big one for people of a certain age and who are into their sports movies. Bulworth would disappear. Courage Under Fire. I don't think anyone's really going to get too upset about Courage Under Fire. And then Alvin and the Chipmunks and Cabin Fever, and okay. But the big hitters really is you're going to lose the Lord of the Rings movies. You're going to lose the Goonies.
Wait, he was in Cabin Fever, or are you talking about the remake?
Cabin Fever, Patient Zero from 2014.
That doesn't count. That's shit. No, that's Ty West. Ty West has denounced it because of studio interference, but it's technically a Ty West movie.
It's all pointless because no one cares.
It's not the good one.
Yeah. All right. But okay. So if you're going to lose him, all right, you're going to lose some big hitters. Speaking of big hitters, Punch Drunk Love, Uncut Gems, Murder Mystery. Okay, I should have found a better one to finish on the third. But Adam Sandler effectively is a big part of my teenage years. My relationship to comedy really comes from Happy Gilmore, The Wedding Singer, Little Nicky, and all of those early comedies. Now, they're not for everyone, and let's be honest, he went downhill after, in my opinion, a pretty good run that starts at Airheads and then ends around about Mr. Deeds, I think. All right, or 50 First Dates, let's say. People like anger management. I didn't get on with it. You would also lose the absolute classic You Don't Mess with the Zohan. You will be losing The Longest Yard, although that's not really too bad because Mean Machine exists. But you would be losing Hustle, which I still haven't caught up on that, and a lot of people were very big on Hustle. I don't think many people are going to be upset about not having to be able to watch Uncut Gems again. But that said, the last of the three is a wild card. I just pulled him literally out of my arse. Sorry, that's a turn of phrase. But Paul Dano? I always never know how to say it. How do you say it?
Dano.
Is it Dano?
Dano? Is it?
Dano.
Actually, I thought it was Dano.
It is Dano.
I am saying Dano.
Either way, it's a good way to say it in a Cockney accent. Dano. Point. You'll be losing...
Mystic River, The Batman. What's that movie with Steve Carell?
That movie with Steve Carell. Little Miss Sunshine.
Little Miss Sunshine.
Little Miss Sunshine is a great movie.
He'd also lose Prisoners.
Prisoners.
Denny,
Prisoners is big.
12 Years a Slave.
Blood.
12 Years a Slave. I put it in because I think there are going to be some people who are going to have to think twice about the Batman. Yeah, I think a lot of people like the Fabelmans. I think a lot of people love Prisoners, but I don't know.
Little Miss Sunshine as well.
Exactly. Absolutely. There are a Swiss Army Man, Okja, The Guilty. It's an interesting collection. I loved. Oh, by the way, we haven't talked about it. Dumb Money. We had this wonderful kind of run, didn't we, this year of those kind of, what do you call it? Corporate biopics. Corporate biopics. You had Blackberry, you had Pinball, you had the Beanie Babies, and Dumb Money. If anyone hasn't seen Dumb Money, I thoroughly recommend it. If you're a big fan of the Big Short. Oh shit! You lose Looper.
He's in Looper?
He's the guy. He's the bad friend.
Was there really a film called Beanie Babies?
But yeah, there's a Beanie Baby movie. It's really good. It's got Zach Galifianakis.
And it's actually not a bad
really
movie.
Good.
Zach Galifianakis is really good.
Isn't Sarah Snook of Succession in that?
She's fabulous. Yeah, she's really good. It's a great movie. Great movie. My favorite.
The title's like the Emoji Movie. It's like the Beanie Babies movie.
Different, yes. Like I said, this is more of the origins, corporate origin story for
very different
for things. But yeah, okay. So those are your three tonight. Okay, so that's how we play. I've given you three. You've got to get rid of two. I'm going to go around to you all. You're going to have about 5 minutes or so, and you can talk me through your options. All right. Don't just go this one. All right. That's not the aim of the game. The aim of the game is I want to talk to you and I want to make you do the work. This is the work bit. So let's do a little bit of it. Okay. I don't vote. Some of you may be wondering why I haven't put up the classic scrawled list in handwriting that looks like a drunk spider farting all over a page. I've got a Google Doc. Oh, look at me! I've got Google Docs. And I did a table. And I put the pictures in. It's all ready. Here we go. We're ready to go. Fahad, you're going first. All right. Talk to me about 2toBoot tonight. Of these three, which one's the easiest? Do you think that you're getting rid of?
Honestly, none of them are easiest,
Mm-hmm.
to be perfectly honest. But if I had to pick an easiest one, I would say Dano. Although, you know, my feelings about Batman and everything. But you know, there are some more important things in life,
Oh,
the ones that make me laugh. So yeah, I'm getting rid of Dano at first,
okay.
and then do you want me to keep going?
I want you to. I think I know where you're going. I think my next question is, what's your relationship like with the Lord of the Rings movies?
I have had an amazing relationship with the Lord of the
Okay,
Rings
so now,
movies. By the way, I do think that I don't think Sean is in any of the Hobbits, right?
I don't
I get
think
to
so.
save them,
I
right?
don't think so.
Okay.
No, he's
I
not.
think I'll be, yeah, I think I'll be okay if I still have the Hobbit because I do find them quite intriguing as much as I love Lord of the Rings. There are reasons, like you mentioned, Skadoosh, is why I'm picking the one that I'm picking. Because, you know, there are some movies that kind of define your own stupid senses of humor and
Absolutely.
shit. And I think that one person, you know, and it's not just the movies. I mean, before the movies, SNL, and I don't even know if you guys, I mean, I don't know. I mean, you know, we're talking about the movies, but if we're talking about the person itself, the impact that the person
Mhm.
has on, you know, on your own history of humor and
And
comedy,
you know
it's,
all
you
the
know,
little. It's not even quite in jokes that you have with your friends. It's literally just sound bites, like loads of things from Adam Sandler movies are just things that you would say to your mate, like just slip into conversation. Gatorade, extra. Like loads and loads and loads of things. And like you say, when it's a part of your lexicon, when it becomes part of your personality, like sorry, Fahad, I am assuming you're going for the
yeah,
same.
I am, yes. And I, for ever in my life, I will never get rid of Sohan. I mean, I mean, I know you guys talked about all the classics and everything, but that movie, the way it makes me chuckle, none of these Sandler movies do. It's just, I think the rewatch value of that particular movie just beats everything else out in his filmography. But yeah, it's probably a weird choice to go
No,
to
it's an
Sohan,
interesting.
especially
It's a,
with the climate now. But it is my favorite fucking movie, Sandler movie of
it's an
all time.
interesting thing because I think if there's the thing that the Sandler has is that I guess if people don't have that similar connection, perhaps that we do to being a teenager growing up watching those silly comedies and doing the funny voices and the bits, if they don't have that connection to it, there's still a genuine chance they could pick him on Punch Drunk Love alone. Um, he does have, and again, I've always said it. It's Mark Kermode's opinion, and I fully agree with it. That the worst thing he ever did was make Punch Drunk Love, because then it made us realize, oh fuck, you actually can act, dude. You can act. Like you're a great actor. So
Yeah.
there's no excuse for Jack and Jill.
I
There's no excuse for fucking Herbie Halloween.
That movie with Andy
Yeah.
Samberg about no, I mean he the thing is I do think that you know like that Spaceman movie is coming out now. I do think that Sandler is trying to go this other
Yeah.
route, but I do want because we haven't had one of those goofy ass movies in a long, long
Mm.
time. Um, you know, even you know, he kind of got into cartoons, the animated ones, and even those have
Now
stopped
let's
coming now.
test.
Now Sandler is just. It feels like Sandler is just using. all of these movies to just, have the studios make him go and him and his friends on
Now,
vacation. I just want,
yeah, well, I think we can all testify to that. I think we all lost our sense of humor, ironically, when we saw funny people or whatever, or Grown Ups. Was it? Whatever.
Funny People is not a bad movie to do.
Can
Come
I?
on.
All right, let's get really fucking nerdy before I move on to the next person. Have you seen? Speaking of animated, have you seen the Christmas movie? I can't remember what it's called. It's an,
80,
Eight Crazy
that's it.
Nights.
8 Crazy Nights.
Isn't that a Hanukkah movie?
It's a Hanukkah movie. Sorry.
That
Yes.
is one of the most Sandler movies ever. Yes.
Dear. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, put my foot in it there, haven't I? Absolutely. No, sorry. The Hanukkah movie. That I need to go back and watch that. I love that. I can't remember the name of the character, but the little old man with the furry ass, the basketball coach.
And you know that Mr. Deeds where there's the person lives in Winchesterton Fieldville.
Winchesterton.
I still use that city. I still use
You
that
should
city
do.
when somebody asks me for
You
my
should
address.
do. All data miners. You should just provide that as Westchestertonville. It also gave us. Let's not forget.
Winchesterton
Let's not
Fieldville,
forget. It also gave us
Iowa.
the phrase. I am very, very sneaky, sir. I think you are underestimating the sneakiness. that when you're 16 is a lot of fun. Anyway, right, we have our first vote for Adam Sandler. Ryan, you're going next. Talk to me about who's the first one you're prepared to lose.
This is actually kind of hard because one has my favorite. One is in my favorite movie of all time. And a lot of that person's movies are not good. One of them in particular, if I never have to watch it again, I'll be very happy. But he was also my favorite movie of all time.
You're giving me a huge amount of context, but fuck all in terms of detail, my friend.
Ryan, how I missed you.
There Will Be Blood is my favorite movie of all time.
Interesting. Okay.
And Swiss Army Man can fuck off and die.
Interesting.
It is the reason why I was very hesitant with Everything Everywhere, but I love that movie. So the Daniels are back on my they're back on my good side, and I can't wait to see what they do next.
I'm sure they're both breathing a heavy sigh of relief. But I'm no closer to who you're getting rid of, though.
No. I could probably get rid of Sandler.
You could probably get rid of Sandler.
Note the word probably.
Yeah.
I'd say Sandler is probably the one to. Jesus Christ. Because it's like Happy Gilmore I adore.
Mm-hmm.
And like Punch Drunk Love.
Tap. Sorry.
You can do it.
You can do it. Exactly. Look, okay. You're going to get rid of Adam Sandler, but I swear to God, you will use the phrase "you can do it," and then you'll think about this moment and go, "Should I have got rid of him?"
Although he's not the one that says it, the person that said it is a real asshole. So I can. Yeah.
It is. It's Rob Schneider.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although he has a talented daughter, I will say that.
It depends. Okay, it depends. Listen, I wish I could see your face when you delivered that sentence. Because if your eyebrows were up, it's a good sign. If your eyebrows had been down, very different sentence. He's got a very talented daughter.
She's an amazing singer.
And if his eyes, Skadooosch, and if his eyes was googling.
Yes. Yeah. If his hand was in his pocket or not. Anyway, Ryan, let's get closer to come and lose someone. Get rid of someone.
Fuck it, we're losing Paul Dano.
Okay, Paul Dano, you've said goodbye to your favorite movie of all time. But you still have Lord of the Rings and you still have 50 First Dates. So what are we doing here?
That would mean we get to keep Lord of the Rings.
What do you mean? You're losing me.
That would mean we'd be keeping Sean Astin. My final answer.
You're okay. Wow. Okay. We're here. All right. So look, Lord of the Rings. First three are what tipping it over the edge. And considering you're going to keep 50 First Dates as well.
We are.
All right. That's a deal. We'll shake on it. Okay. That's
Yeah.
a vote for Sean Astin. All right. I'm going to write it in my column. Ryan. There we go. One vote. Okay. Right. Thank you, brother. Matthew, next to you. Talk to me about this conundrum I have given you.
Well, first off, I'm sorry, Sean, but I have to get rid of you.
No, I mean, you didn't even think there, Matthew. I mean, I do love direct thinking. I love direct speech. I love directness. You're not a Lord of the Rings. You're not a Lord of the Rings guy.
Of course, I like Lord of the Rings, but I'm not the hugest fan of it.
Okay.
In terms of Dano and Sandler, that's when it gets hard.
Okay. So what are the ones that rise to the surface in terms of the debate here?
With Dano, it's Little Miss Sunshine. Actually,
is that a favorite?
That is a very big favorite of mine.
Okay.
And with Adam Sandler, it's, oh my god, I completely Uncut Gems. I'm sorry, I'm blank.
Okay. Oh no. Talk to me about that. Okay. In terms of that movie, what's the why? Why is that one the one?
It was huge surprise to see Adam Sandler like that. You know what I mean? Like serious, dark, like after seeing him goof around for like 20, 30 years.
Okay.
Amazingly in some movies, of course.
All right, Matthew, I'm just gonna pull rank very quickly. I'm gonna give you a little bit of a little tap with a wet fish. All right.
Okay.
The game is they will be permanently deleted. So
yeah, I know that.
So I mean, if you're gonna keep, just okay. Okay. Back to you.
I'm gonna pick Dano.
You're keeping Dano.
I can't imagine without Little Miss Sunshine in the world. I just can't.
That's wonderful. Sometimes it's enough. Sometimes the game is who's got the most that you couldn't live without. Sometimes it's just one though. Sometimes it just comes down to one. I can't live without that movie.
For this case, I was definitely down to one.
What? Do you mind if I?
Yeah,
Go on, Pad.
No, I was saying I have picked 2toBoots just based off of one movie, so I completely understand where Matthew is going.
Matthew, what's the connection?
I just remember watching that movie with my grandma and just ended up loving it. We were laughing, and it was just funny to see Paul Dano and Alan Arkin in it. They were both so funny, and it's weird to watch Paul Dano. Like, I watched the movie recently, and it's weird to see him playing like almost like a teenager type role.
Sure. He was a young actor, wasn't he? He did start young. I know he was in lots of things. For anyone who hasn't seen Little Miss Sunshine, I won't spoil anything, but I will just say the scene in which there's a revelation whilst he's in the car about his eyesight. That scene stuck with me. That's the first scene I think of, and considering some of the scenes that are in Little Miss Sunshine, that's saying something. The ending, all I will say, which is hands down one of the greatest endings. one of the greatest comedy rug pulls as well, because it really takes some balls to do that.
I think it's weird the movie never won the Comedy Golden Globe. It's so weird.
It was in that kind of sweet spot, and I think we've had lots more of, thankfully, lots more of those movies. I put it in the same bracket as something like The Way Back, Kings of Summer. Those really, really nice kind of sweet but quirky, edgy comedy drama, slice of life, coming of age, all that sort of thing. Lovely. All right, so that's.
I believe one of Paul Dano's first roles was a movie called L.I.E. or a lot with Brian Cox.
Not the professor. The fuck off one.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. I did love to have seen Professor Brian Cox and a young. No, don't say that. Matthew, your vote has made it one apiece for everyone. So we are currently tied. Let's go to Anna. Talk to me, Anna. Talk to me about these three actors and their movies and your connection.
I hate Adam Sandler.
You hate Adam Sandler. Good. Okay, let's get into that first and foremost. Why?
Yes. I don't like how he acts. I think he's. I don't know. I just don't. I don't like him.
I understand where you're coming
But is
from.
it him acting in the movies though? That's
I
also kind of
really,
up
I
for
really
debate.
avoid watching movies that he is in. I remember I was watching Uncut Gems with my ex-husband now, and so only because he wanted to see it, and I couldn't finish it. I went to take a book and read because I prefer to read the books than watch. Interesting movie, but I couldn't stand seeing him in the screen. Sorry.
That's okay. I understand that. I have heard people have a similar relationship to him in terms of some people believe there is a perhaps a cruel, arrogant edge to his style of comedy, which is
Arrogant?
a bit.
No, I wouldn't say arrogant, but I don't know. It's something I don't like. I don't like.
Stupid.
Yes, stupid. Exactly.
Puerile.
Stupid.
Puerile or
Stupid.
juvenile.
Yes, it's an immature act.
Perhaps maybe literally one of the only things that
We are
works in his favor.
Europeans. You don't get that.
No.
Yes, exactly.
Well,
you don't
it's
get.
not just European though. I think it's having a maybe.
Skadooosch is also European.
Well,
he's from
Yes,
the
but you're
island.
British.
That
Okay.
doesn't count.
I see myself really as a world citizen. The rest of world. That's who I play for. That's my team. Okay, so Adam Sandler, we can just firmly remove from this picture.
Yes.
Okay.
And I don't like
Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings. No,
Okay.
it's not my cup of
tea.
This kind of movies like Hobbit, and I don't like.
That's
it's
fair enough.
Very, very hard to find some movie to like. Mostly, I like series like The Witcher. Yeah, but
not
movies
those
like
ones.
that. No. I just this kind of movies and sci-fi I don't like.
Oh, now this is interesting. This is okay. So something that Kyle and I talked about on our video very quickly. Hi to Tracy. Have you seen the Dune movies, or am I just gonna? Can I just assume they're not for you
I
either?
haven't watched them yet. I promised to a friend to watch it. I will watch to see what will happen.
I think is it perhaps the ones? No, that you said you prefer things like The Witcher and TV series. You're fine with fantasy. I think if it's perhaps
yes.
Now, do you think it is when fantasy takes itself too seriously? Now, Lord of the Rings takes itself very, very seriously.
I don't know. I started
I
watching a
think
little bit the first part, but I don't know. I find it. Yes, it's not. It's not the kind of universe I'm into it. So
interesting.
yes, it's
So we
the
have.
universe that I don't. It's
Well,
like Harry Potter. I didn't like. I've never liked Harry Potter. Yeah.
We need more time to
See,
unpick all of this.
I'm weird.
Yes,
My
good.
tastes
I
are
will
weird.
need some medication tonight, Anna.
I'm trying to write a lot of blurb for the channel and stuff, and I started getting all deep and fucking meditative the other night, and I was thinking about why is it that we like talking about movies, and why so many people just spend a lot of their time just doing it, or thinking about it, or researching it, or looking, or listening to soundtracks and stuff like that. And I thought about, well, it's art,
No,
isn't
Lord
it? But
of the Rings has a very beautiful soundtrack.
it absolutely does. But what is
Yes,
it about
let's put that.
movies? What is it specifically about movies? Because movies are art, and they're relatively recent in terms of human history. But people don't get on. There is no art Twitter. There is no Picasso Twitter. There's no. I'm sure there are people who are obsessed with theatre and stuff, but there is a big difference between how people go about their relationship with movies is entirely different, and it's a phenomenon. And I think when we stop to think about why we like the things we do, it's really quite interesting, because knowing yourself is a pretty handy tool. But sometimes, Anna, it's very difficult sometimes to articulate why you like something, but sometimes it's easier to articulate why you don't like it. Sometimes you know what you like by what you don't like. Does that
Yes,
make sense?
yes, exactly. It's because I'm not into it. That's the universe like that doesn't. I don't know.
Doesn't appeal.
Yes, doesn't appeal to me.
But what does? So Paul Dano is your choice. We're going with
Yes,
Paul
Paul Dano is my
of his
choice
movies.
because, well, Batman.
Okay.
12 Years a Slave. It's one of my favorite movies, in which I was a little bit jealous of the lady when she was weeping. I would like her husband there weeping me.
This is a different podcast.
Yes, exactly. Prisoners.
Again.
Yes, he was in a good movies, and also Little Mrs. Sunshine.
There we go. So you like, I think, movies with a bit of edge and some weight and some heft, and a bit of drama and some stakes.
Yes.
And men wearing black leather.
Yes.
And masks. Anyway, less about your
cosplay.
Less about your. All right, we have a leader. Thank you, Anna. We have a leader finally. So far, Tracy, let me bring you up to speed. Hi, let me say hi to Tracy.
Hi, hey, love. How are you?
Very good, my dear. Very good. Now, you won't have played this before, and this is the first game. This is the first game we came up with, and we did it for years. We did it for a long, long time. To the point where there is a Robin. I'll just do it front to back. 3 actors. The rules are you have to get rid of 2. The 2 that you get rid of, every movie they've ever been in, it doesn't matter if it's a cameo. If they've been in that movie, it will be permanently deleted. So the game is not who's the best actor, and it's not who's got the best awards. This is a game of who has either the most or has the one movie that you can't live without. So have you seen the 3 that we've got for tonight?
I have, yeah.
Okay, now take a bit of time, think about it. We've had so far a vote each across the board. Ryan went with Sean Astin. Fahad went with his soul.
I mean, I think I know who I have, but it is between 2 of them.
Hold on to it for now. Hold on to it for now, because we've got 1 vote for Astin, 1 vote for Sandler, 2 votes now for Dano. Right, Paul and Helen. It's quarter to 12.
Hello.
You should be in bed. Are you in bed? I shouldn't have asked that. Now I've asked it. I'm committing to it. Are you in bed?
Yes.
We are all snuggly warm.
Yeah, boy. Have you? I don't know why I got a flashback of what was it? Vodka and cuppa soup. When did we come up with that? Do you? No, Horlicks.
Oh,
it was.
that was a very long.
By the way, sorry, I should explain, because that word could be problematic, I think, in terms of translations. Horlicks, everyone, is a brand. It's like a multi drink. It's a how do I explain it?
That's what you think.
It's a bedtime drink.
It's a bedtime drink. That's the first time I've ever thought about that word. And
I never thought of that. Never thought.
Interesting.
Oh my God! How did they come up with that name in the first place? Then,
I mean,
because they haven't got minds in the gutter.
Well, I mean, they start in the gutter, and then they grow into family trees. Unfortunately, clearly, corporate identities, very successful corporate identities. One might add. Anyway, All right, both of you have a vote tonight.
Yes.
We're going to start with ladies first. Helen.
Hello.
Of these three, which one's going first? Who's going?
Dano.
Beating.
Dano is going.
Dano. Okay. He doesn't. Anything in there really that caused you no, nothing.
No.
Bin. Just bin.
Yeah.
Done. Good. Next one.
The next two are quite difficult because they both have films that are very meaningful to me. So from Sandler's perspective, The Wedding Singer was one of the first films Paul and I went to see. And Paul bought it me on VHS. That's how old.
Now, do you still have a video player? A VCR?
No. But I still have the video.
We still have the VHS, but no VHS player.
It's the thought that counts.
See,
we're old school.
Yeah, we're old from the time where you had to actually wait for videos to come out.
Listen, before I forget, I had this thought earlier and I forgot to write it down. The other day, I had a tiny little moment. I told the story in the last space about the guy who waited until I looked at him to flip me off, which gave me such amount of joy. I had another little one of those this week, which was my 5-year-old who knows all the buttons to push. He knows how to get to Netflix on which button on the remote control at Granny's house, and I was watching him try and move to the next episode of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and the button wouldn't work. And he kept pushing the button, and he pointed the remote control, he kind of jabbed it forward towards the TV, and my heart grew a little. And then he took the back off the remote control, and he rubbed the battery.
Yay!
And I thought, do you know what? Considering how far we've come from when you and I and everyone else here were tiny children, okay, we don't really have terrestrial TV anymore. Everything is online. Everything is streaming. Elon Musk exists. The future is fucking here, but they still haven't figured out.
They haven't replaced batteries yet.
But what I love is that my children don't understand what adverts are, but they still know to take the batteries out, put them back in the other way around, and that way you get another 2 weeks worth out of the remote control.
It's an innate awareness.
It's a universal knowledge.
Yeah,
isn't it? I mean, I swear, crows and ravens could do it if they really could. I don't think we're that smart. Anyway, Helen. All right, we binned off. Who did we bin off? Dano. Dano's been binned off.
Yeah, and then the other two, as I say, they're quite close. So obviously, has got Wedding Singer, 50 First Dates, Happy Gilmore, Mr. Deeds.
Anything. So remember, you keep anything with a crossover. So 50 First Dates is safe at the moment.
Yeah. But I can't get rid of the Goonies.
Oh.
And I can't get rid of Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug. So, yeah, it's got to be Mr. Astin that I'm saving.
I knew the Goonies was going to pull on some strings.
Yeah, it's the Goonies.
I know what I'm doing with this. It is the first time back in a while, but I did get that little thrill of thinking, oh, now.
Yeah.
Oh, now. Let's cause some problems. The Goonies is a problem.
Yes,
the Goonies is a big problem because I don't know how. Yeah, for some of us, I don't know how. Like, have you rewatched it recently, or have you shown it to Erin?
Yes, she's seen it. Yeah.
What did she think?
She loves it as well. It's just, I think it's timeless. It's like, who doesn't love a swashbuckling goodies win story? It's
exactly. Like, kids on an adventure.
Yeah.
And let's not forget as well. I mean, when we watched it, I think it probably lands different for younger audiences now because the world is very different. But for us, it was a fantasy. It was like, oh my God, these guys are living. What do you mean you get to go out with your mates on BMXs and go on zip wires and find One-Eyed Willie? Like that was a dream, wasn't it? Like when you were a kid, like how cool would that have been?
I think as well. I think I love it even more as an adult as well, and I think it's because it's that whole sort of that whole common thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's the fact that you know they all hate each other because they're all teenage boys,
Yes.
but they all love each other.
I mean, you have Josh Brolin as the what's it? It's called Brand. It's something like that, isn't it? It's called Brand, isn't it?
Yeah.
Honestly, I will never forget when he's doing the chest exercise with the stretchy thing, and they tie it round, they stretch it all the way around, and then that scene in itself, like it just triggered this thought in my head, like they don't really make scenes like that anymore. They don't make. I don't know. Maybe it's just the times have moved on, but
like I like when Mouth speaks to the
Rosalita,
the maid Rosalita in Spanish, and tells her all
about the drug cartels,
all about the dungeons.
And she's crossing herself as she goes out. Listen, there are parts of that movie which haven't aged well.
Really,
but interestingly, I mean, it gave us. I always forget the chronology here, but was Ke Huy Quan in Temple of Doom first? Yeah. Which came first, Temple of Doom, then Goonies?
Goonies was first, I think.
Yeah. I mean, Data was.
Someone get on Google. That's close. That I think.
I don't think there's much in it, but I think it was the Goonies first.
No, it may have been close to the same sort of time. But the thing with Ke Huy Quan is, yes, his character is a stereotype. It didn't stop him being the coolest fucking one of them. My favorite character was always Data, because Data had a fucking boxing glove on a extendable, what was it, piston driven, you know, when he punches himself.
Inches of Al or something.
You remember the slapstick, or when he fucks it up and then he punches himself in the face with the.
Yeah.
They don't make this stuff anymore. Anyway, okay, so we're not getting rid of the Goonies, which means that Sean Astin stays. Let me say hi to Scott. Hi, Scott. If you want to grab a mic at any time. We're doing a game of 2toBoot. It's very simple. There's 3 actors on the table. Sean Astin, Adam Sandler, Paul Dano. Those 3, you need to get rid of 2. You need to get rid of 2 of them and only keep 1. The deal, though, is that the 2 that you lose, every movie that they've ever been in is permanently deleted. So the game is, which of these 3 has the movies that you can't live without? Okay, so far we have a vote. We have 2 now. So Helen, 3 L's, 4. That's 5. Let's do 5 L's. I didn't capitalize the H. Sorry, it's gone in the column. All right, so that's 2 votes so far for Sean Astin. 1 vote for the Sandman. Dano 1-2. So Sandler just slipping behind. Let's move to Paolo One Chop. Hello, Paolo. What are you thinking of these 3? Which is the first to go?
Dano doesn't register for me.
Nothing.
To be honest,
the Batman. Nothing. Little Miss Sunshine.
No, sorry. No.
Night and Day.
No, I can't remember him in Night and Day.
I'm running. Love and Mercy.
You're peddling without her.
He's gone. All right, let's just say he's gone. All right, so Paul Dano is gone. You're left with the Sandman or Sean Astin. So what are the movies now that are competing for each other?
Well, similar for me. I mean, the thing about the Lord of the Rings, there's so much walking. Oh my God.
You're not a fan of walking,
though. You know that.
It just over and over.
Yourself an Englishman.
Mountains, walking through forest. Oh Jesus!
Right, hang on.
I respect them as movies. However, there's just so much walking.
Helen.
Yes.
Christmas present, mobility scooter.
What? They could have cut the running time in half if they did all have mobility scooters. I mean, not the best brain, to be fair.
I need to see a version of. Listen, AI. A lot of people are scared of it. I embrace it. I embrace AI. I want to see hobbits on mobility scooters.
Hobbits on mobility scooters. I mean,
Family Guy has a joke on this. Like, why didn't they just use those flying eagles to go all the way?
No, I mean exactly.
Saves so much time.
So let's just, but Paul, let's really drill down to what you're saying, because I mean, yes, you make a funny joke. They could have used the Eagles. They could have used mobility scooters. Clearly, though, Lord of the Rings doesn't speak to you though, because tell me, is it fine? Is it just fine, or not really your cup of tea? It's just fine.
I'm same as Anna. I think the music is fantastic, and it's very.
Was it Orlando Bloom? Was it Orlando Bloom's fault?
I think the problem.
No, I didn't. Actually, I don't
too pretty?
I don't mind him in that.
I think the problem is that the problem is that you had to go to the pictures at my birthday every year for 3 years to go and watch the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, it was a birthday thing.
But that's not your fault, Helen. If he sees if he sees that as a burden, that's really on him.
To be fair, you're putting words in my mouth now.
I'm putting thoughts in her head, Fred. It's slightly different, but much more insidious.
Also, it's Helen's parents' fault, to be honest.
Yeah. Blame your mum and dad. Yeah. I do.
All right. So, listen. Are you getting rid of the Goonies?
Well, the thing, I was quite easy talking about, and the Goonies. Yeah, I love the Goonies, but I then thought, no, yeah, I'm more torn now because of the Goonie talk, Josh Brolin and everything.
One-Eyed Willie.
One-Eye Willie. And actually, looking through Sean's filmography, he was in a film called The Willies. So even though he was in the Goonies and a film called The Willies, I'm still going to say no to Sean.
Oh God! Nice. Okay, let me go to the spreadsheet. I'm calling it a spreadsheet. It's not a fucking spreadsheet. Oh, am I putting your name down under Sandman?
Yeah, go on. Yeah,
Paolo.
Yeah.
I always wonder about One Chop. You spell it Wanchope, which doesn't make any sense.
He spelled it WAN. Yeah, CHOPE.
It's just one of the most fabulous names of all time. And now I'd stuck to you for some reason.
I know.
You haven't told me though why of Adam Sandler's movies. Why are they beating off Paul Dano and Sean Astin?
Wait, what?
You heard what I said. Why have you beaten off? Why has Adam Sandler beaten off Sean Astin and Paul Dano?
How dare you suggest such a thing?
That's for you, Anna. That's just for you.
I mean, Wedding Singer.
Yeah.
Shame on you.
Me, apparently.
The wedding. But is it a combination of the nostalgic, but also? Do you have the nostalgia? You like those early ones?
There's lots of sound bites as well
that we use.
That we still use. That we still use now.
There we go, Fahad. And
same with Happy Gilmore and Deeds. Go, it's your home. Go home.
Get in your home, Paul. What, you think too good for your home? Suck my white ass, Paul.
Erin loves Happy Gilmore as well, doesn't she?
I actually follow Shooter McGavin.
He's brilliant, isn't he?
On Twitter, yeah.
Wasn't he good with the Waste Management Open was last week, wasn't it, or the last couple of weeks?
Oh yeah,
his tweets were brilliant.
Yeah, love that.
And I'll be waiting for you just in the parking lot. Did you know? Okay, weird bit of trivia about. So the guy who is, the guy who got the nail in the head and is his fan at the end, the lurch guy in Happy Gilmore.
Jaws,
yeah.
Played Jaws, originally the same actor who played Jaws in the James Bond movies, and he was so ill, he was so physically unable to move in that movie that you see the way it's cut, and it's quite clear it's not actually him running. He couldn't really even walk, but he wanted so much to be in the movie and to play the role because he just wanted that. Again, he knew he didn't have long to live, and there's an interview with him, and he said this was a dream come true for him, and I love that. I love that the actor who played probably one of the most iconic villains or henchmen, I guess you would say, in Western cinematic history. Really put his health on the line so that he could threaten Shooter McGavin in Happy Gilmore.
Well, I did not know that.
No.
Your ball struck my foot.
Play it
Where
where
does it lies? Anything else though? You got another minute or so. What about Adam Sandler? Anything else of his? I love Little Nicky, and it might just be because of the soundtrack.
Well, I don't know about.
I love Little Nicky.
Deeds is brilliant, but I mean,
Deeds is brilliant.
It's brilliant for many things, but especially the butler, who just appears from everywhere, and his butt thing. And his.
Would you want me to strike the foot? I will strike. Really? Nothing. Whoop-bam! 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 Why would you do that? I'm so sorry, sir. Oh, you really got me going. Like, he does stab it like all the way through the foot.
Yeah.
Yeah, we forget about that. Adam Sandler's fucked in the head, man.
I love that. So yeah.
Also, John McEnroe with Spider-Man skills.
No, yeah. McEnroe's in it as well.
For that movie alone,
beers and then throwing bottles at cars.
Let's also not forget that Jared Harris, he of Mad Men and Chernobyl, and the son of Richard Harris, the wonderful, classically trained actor, plays with an Australian version of Rupert Murdoch. Babe! Give me the story, babe! In Mr. Deeds.
Indeed, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, all right. So we have, at the moment, it is all square, ladies and gentlemen. 2 across the board. 2 for Astin, 2 for the Sandman, 2 for Dano. We come to Carly. Carly, you are next.
I'm keeping Paul Dano. The rest can go.
Straight in. No hesitation. Which movies and why? Which ones?
The Batman and Little Miss Sunshine. I love them dearly.
What's your relationship like to Adam Sandler? Movies? Sorry, not personally.
Oh no, I've seen a couple of his movies. I think he's really great.
Okay, good. And now again, what I think I'm trying to explore there is it's a generational thing. I think we grew up on this movie, and I think honestly, it's the same. I think I get a similar sort of thing for Had and Paul and Helen and Kit actually on this as well. Can I ask you guys? I'll ask everyone. I grew up on Uncle Buck. I grew up on the crazy guys of the 80s, so the Steve Martin movies, Martin Short, Chevy Chase, things like Caddyshack, all those sorts of things. Now, there's a difference, I think, between him and Adam Sandler movies, or my relationship to them, because I thought those movies were funny at the time. I find on rewatch, when I go back and look back at things like Ghostbusters and Caddyshack and things, they don't land for me. They don't land, and I don't know if there's a similar sort of thing.
Caddyshack definitely doesn't for me either.
Yeah, Kit, any light on this?
Yeah, I think the jokes are stale. They're not quite the same, but I think when we put them on now, they're more of a comfort and a familiarity than we are looking for an actual laugh. For me anyway, when I go back that far to those types of films. But I think it's the brand of humor too, because there are films that are even older than that I think are still hilarious, to this day. So that brand of humor was different for sure.
Of its time. Sorry, Carly. Yes, go back to what you were saying.
Oh, I grew up more of his early 2000s movies, Just Go With It. That era.
Okay. We don't get to choose. That's the I mean, it's the good and the bad thing about it. We don't get to choose when we're born or where we're born or what comes into our sphere of influence at at those kind of formative ages, we don't really get a choice in that.
For sure.
It's interesting, but I love that even though perhaps Sandler is perhaps out of step with people of your generation, the fact that you still go back and watch his older movies and there's still some likability factor there. I think
there's some timeless bits as well, though. I mean, like Bill Murray would last for me. You know, I mean, Bill.
Leslie Nielsen.
Now we're talking. Did anyone remember they did a version of, and I know people give a lot of shit to Scary Movie and Not Another Teenage Movie or superhero.
Leslie Nielsen was in Scary Movie 3, and it is so hilarious.
Let's not forget, now, I don't like those movies. I've never enjoyed their movies, but let's not forget Leslie Nielsen starred in a movie called Wrongly Accused, which was, does anyone remember? Complete fucking parody ripoff of The Fugitive.
No, but I do remember Repossessed.
Oh my
that he
God.
starred in.
Oh yeah.
I mean, listen. We can put in a separate bracket on its own The Naked Guns, can't we? We can all just agree The Naked Guns that's canon, that's classic. Those go off to one side. Then you have we'll put Airplane and Airplane 2 in there as well. Then you have, what was it, Dracula Dead and Loving It?
Yes, that's that. Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Okay, but Carly, so we're keeping Paul Dano. Lord of the Rings? I didn't ask you about Lord of the Rings. Is that?
Oh, I have not watched them yet. I will, though. I will get to them. I just got about a million other things to watch.
I mean, Carly, remember you've got every single Christopher Nolan movie to watch still.
Yeah.
That I'm forcing you to do.
Oh my God. Save me. Save me.
That list is getting higher and higher. But okay, wonderful. You've given us another vote. You went with Dano, so he's now in the lead. So we have Carly's vote in the spreadsheet. Let's get Tracy back in. Who's next? Mladen, you are next.
Okay, hello everybody. Nice to see you.
How is Serbia?
We went through the earthquake of Eurovision proportion last night. Yeah, I mean, nothing is light in this country. We are crazy, super, super crazy. Even about songs we want to send to Eurovision, which at the end nobody will watch, but we will.
Listen, if anything is worth spilling blood over, and
it's the Eurovision song.
Paul and Helen will back me up on this.
Definitely.
Agreed.
Listen, you can massacre as many people of a different religion as you want. I don't care. If you don't back my song for Eurovision, two swords drawn, Ronin. Let's fucking go. Sorry.
I mean, we have a lot of things with that. That's just. I mean, I don't even know if Eurovision is a thing. I mean, I spent 2010s like watching Eurovision with friends across the Europe,
Mladen,
just laughing
at it.
Stop
you there, Mladen? Can I just stop you there? Paul and Helen.
Yes.
Hello.
Is Eurovision a thing?
Absolutely.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's amazing. We've been to see it twice.
Okay, I mean, a couple of years ago in 2022, we sent something so unique, Constructa, which was absolutely amazing and by Serbian standards never seen before. So that was nice. And this year we are sending also something interesting. So, but
when you say interesting, though, I get worried when Eastern Europeans say the word interesting.
No,
there's a lot of range there.
Very nice song.
Okay,
I think
good.
You can listen to it. I will link it, and then you people can listen to it. It's just an interesting ballad. I mean, and it has a beautiful World War I symbolism. And it's got British people, you have the poppy flower, right? For remembrance.
For the Second World War,
yeah.
Remembrance Day.
Remembrance Day. And we have the lily called Ramonda, which is the flower that grows in Serbia, in some mountains in Serbia, in eastern Serbia. And the song is inspired by it because it only needs a drop of water to survive. So.
Wow.
I mean, the thing is that if you ever think that your country is sending a weird song to Eurovision.
Just remember.
Ireland sent a turkey puppet
called Dustin.
Oh yes, I remember that. I remember Dustin.
Listen, art doesn't need to justify itself to you, Paul.
I mean,
doesn't
I
need to make
remember the
sense.
Romanian guy who was singing like at some portion he was singing like a deep, I don't know even deep, I don't know what voice that male voice is. And then in the middle of the song, he transformed it into the most impressive soprano ever heard. Like in the middle of the song, it was crazy. Super transformative. I loved it. Really, really
Speaking
loved
of things that
That's
you love,
Eurovision.
speaking of things that you love, of the three,
it.
back to the and very quickly, I'll say hi to FBL Toffees. Hello, bruv. Or sorry, I've just gone in with bruv. Bruv is non-gender specific, isn't it, Paul?
You?
If you
I
like,
use you.
I'd just go
I'm
with
just
mate.
going with bruv.
Go with mate.
I say hello,
Oh,
you.
Oh, no, that's
Clearly, that was not a male listener.
Okay,
Bruv.
you scared the person off.
I did. Well, I mean, yeah. I spoke for 3 seconds and you spoke for 3 minutes.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I'm kidding. All right. So, of these three, talk to
Okay,
me about the one.
so
Talk
I
to me.
thought this is.
Where's the pain point?
I mean, you know me, and
I
you
do.
know what this was going to look like. So
Mm-hmm.
I really thought I had it figured it out in like 30 seconds. Like, you know, my love for the Lord of the Rings. I just want to tell a story. I was 10-year-old. We were refugees from Kosovo. We returned to Montenegro. We were penniless in 2000 and 2001. And the first two movies that I ever seen were Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone.
That's right.
And couple of weeks after that, my mom and my aunt took me, my brother, and my cousin to see the Fellowship of the Ring. So my mom thought it was going to be just another child movie, and then when she saw orcs, it was really, really interesting.
I mean, Sean Bean being turned into a human pincushion probably didn't. That wasn't on her
Didn't do.
agenda for
I
the day,
mean,
was it?
by that time she was already
Yeah, but
freaked out by orcs.
yeah, I think by that
Orcs,
stage,
goblins,
yeah.
and the rest. So both of those franchises have a very, very special place in my heart, and I think that I've watched them more time than it is humanly possible. And when I watch The Lord of the Rings, I do it normally, as a normal human being
Oh,
does.
look at me, I'm normal.
Extended version, all at once.
Of course.
I
Yeah,
mean,
we're not animals here. We
yeah,
all
we are cultured people.
we all spent 60 fucking quid to get the extended leather bound fucking 6 DVD box set thing.
I mean, I spent like 6 months of savings. I remember to buy the first DVD for the first DVD that I ever
For
bought
Fellowship.
was the not the Fellowship. Actually, it was the Two Towers. I first bought the Two Towers, and I had to save it for like 6 months. And I remember it was
Wow. But I mean, again, different world, a completely different world. And thank you, first and foremost, thank you for sharing that as well about your past. And I think the Kosovan War and what happened in the early 2000s in Serbia and that part of the region, over here in the UK, obviously we're aware because we played a quite a large part in it. And the relationship between England or Britain and Kosovo is a very interesting one. We'll get into that later. But first, I just wanted to say thank you as well, because again, we talked earlier about understanding or just spending a little bit of time thinking about why we love the things we love is really, really important. And I think sometimes it just goes back to core memories. And I have a similar one as you do with Lord of the Rings. My dad loved Lord of the Rings. It's the first time I watched a movie with him, and he turned to me and he said, "This is how I had it in my head when I was a kid." like, and seeing that wonder in his eyes. Like, there's something. There's few things in this world that really we should hold on to, and those emotional moments are definitely one of them. Thank you for that. Let me say hi very quickly to Colby. Colby, we're playing 2toBoot tonight. I'm not sure if you've played it before. It's quite quick. There's 3 actors that I give you. The rules are you have to get rid of 2 of them. The 2 that you get rid of, all of their movies are permanently deleted. All right. So of the 3, you got to leave 1 behind. Okay. Permanently deleting of the 3. So listen, Sean Astin so far, Mladen, sounds like he should be quite safe, because the other 2 are Adam Sandler and Paul Dano.
I am not. There will be a little surprise. I told you there was a 30-second thought process, but the more I thought, the more I was going into other direction. Obviously, what didn't change is the number 3, the one that first had to go, and that's Adam Sandler. I'm sorry. I am sorry.
I think we saw this coming.
I grew up on British. I grew up on British comedy. Like, I grew up on Mr. Bean and Allo Allo,
Benny Hill.
Yes, and Monty Python. So American comedy for me, I don't want to be insultive. So I am not going to say anything.
Just call it how you see it.
I think that there are amazing American comedies. Adam Sandler is not one of
your cup of tea. He's not everyone's cup of tea. Quite clearly. Clearly. Now of his movies, let me just delve. Let me say hi to Lana quickly. Hi, Lana. You know how to play 2toBoot. Grab a mic if you can. And Lana's gone. Never mind. Mladen, is there anything of Adam Sandler's that gives you pause for thought?
Yes, and I had to check 3 times to see that.
You're gonna permanently delete Punch Drunk Love at this rate.
51st Dates.
That's the one that gives you pause.
And Spanglish. I remember I liking that one. I love Bart Vega.
I love Spanglish.
I remember that thing.
Okay, listen, it's late over here. I don't know what time it is over there, but this is, I mean, guys, this isn't a PG rated space. This is not a PG rated space. This is an adult space, okay? There is a little moment in Spanglish, and if you haven't seen it, please go and watch it. It's a wonderful little kind of drama comedy. Adam Sandler, really convincing as a high-end chef. His marriage to Tia Leone, however, is leaves something to be desired. It's not a great relationship, and there is a moment where she is sat at a desk. I think she's trying to type on the computer. She's busy. She doesn't want to be bothered, and he leans over her as a husband, and the camera is looking straight at her, and it sees us. We see him walking up behind, and he does that thing where he kind of leans over and puts his arm kind of down one shoulder across her collarbone, kind of in a diagonal fashion across her chest to give her what we think is a quick cuddle. It ends with him cupping her boob and going jigga 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 and letting go and then walking away. Now, when I explain it like that, and if you haven't seen it, I'm probably not doing it justice. It's still the scene that sticks in my head the most from Spanglish. Him going jigga jigga jigga, and her looking like she wants to fucking murder him.
Yes, because you should never do that to a woman when she's working.
You should never do that to anyone when they're working.
Is it only when they're working, or are we allowed to do it other times?
I mean,
only when they're working.
All right, okay.
I think we should put together perhaps a guideline, a manifesto. Generally, it's. I mean, but the thing is, if it's your wife, I guess that's why I love the moment, because let's not forget. I think it's directed by James L. Brooks of Simpsons.
And what does that mean? That if it's your wife, what does that mean?
Tell him, Anna. Tell him.
You have the right to do what you want.
No,
if
no,
she
no.
doesn't
That's
want
not
to?
what I meant.
We
That's
allowed.
not. It's not.
Oh,
No, no,
Keep,
no.
sure.
If I
be
may,
careful,
if
Skadooosch.
I may, what I meant by that was, it's his wife, and in that moment, that communicates to us as an audience the state of their relationship,
So
doesn't it? Quite brilliantly, quite brutally, doesn't it? Because if he feels that okay, the first question is, why have you done that? Well, it's not why have you done that. I don't think he's even thinking. I think he's just gone, huh. But it's the, it's the, I don't know if that is considered. I think perhaps the crux of it is that in his mind, that's him being affectionate. That in his mind, that passes for affection.
Let's
Well,
move on.
Let's move on.
I'm going to try that tomorrow, and then I'll
Yeah,
let
do
you know
it. See what
next
happens.
Okay, so
Rip Paul.
Mr. One Chop, why are you wearing a cast?
Why have you
Anyway,
got broken fingers?
Mladen, we are going. We're not keeping Adam Sandler. We're not.
no. Okay, so there was a lot of. I thought I would keep Sean Astin and then kick Paul Dano, but
You thought.
I thought that way. That was my first instinct. Of course, everybody knows The Lord of the Rings, Kate Blanchett, and blah 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 blah, Ian McKellen, and so many many other people. However,
Oh, look at me! I've got a great cast.
yes, they do.
Except,
I
yes,
am sorry, but those
they
two
do.
if you want to have a good franchise in fantasy genre, you need to have a good cast. There is
So
like
you can't live without this. Then is what you're telling me. You can't live without the
no,
Lord of the Ring movies.
actually, uh, I remember the first time I saw Paul Dano, and it was an adaptation of Leo Tolstoy's War and Peace. BBC did this marvelous adaptation with Lily James and
Lily
James
James, yeah.
Norton, and I loved it. And there is the ballroom dance where Paul Dano looks at them, and I'm such a huge sucker for dances in movies. Like every single
What
time when
more
there is
than what they don't? Do they? Oh, they don't dance in Lord of the Rings. That's what Peter Jackson didn't fucking think about.
yeah, they have a
No
good
dancing.
song. They
No
have a
ballroom scenes.
there's no ball. They have actually. They have Merry and Pippin dance in Edoras after they return from Isengard.
Only in the extended. Only
Yeah,
in the
only in
extended.
the extended edition.
We're such
So,
nerds.
but there is one movie where Paul Dano was, which
Mm-hmm.
in my right mind I cannot delete.
You are no. Okay.
I cannot delete There Will Be Blood.
Interesting that we
And
managed
I
to get.
cannot delete, Daniel Plainview.
You do lose that performance for all time. Yeah, that
Yes, and I can't do that. Daniel
you
Day-Lewis is
can't.
one of my favorite. Daniel Plainview is the epitome of the perfect acting, and that cannot go.
That cannot go. It cannot stand to the point where you are prepared to lose,
Yes,
considering the incredibly emotionally
yes.
visceral story he
Luckily,
told us
all
right at
the
the beginning.
actors of The Lord of the Rings have successful careers, and they have a lot of other performances where I adore them. So I can keep that.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, Sean Austin will have to go,
It's
and
another vote for Paul Dano.
Paul Dano will stay.
Another
Can't.
vote for Paul Dano. Now, Paul Dano did not start the evening particularly well. He was actually he was quite firmly in last place. Currently, as we stand, Mladen, as you have mercilessly sacrificed Sean Astin and Adam, well, I think Adam Sandler had it coming
That wasn't
for your.
mercy. That was public duty.
I tell
Seriously.
you what, yes, I tell you what, Mladen. Let's transform it. Let's reposition it, which is what it is. Which is everyone hates me when I do this game because I make you choose, but I have to make you choose because that makes you think. And then hopefully at some point later down the line, you go, you know what? I quite enjoy the movie ranking because it does make me think about why I like the things I do.
But I think this game should be different. I think
you should shut your mouth.
No, I'm sorry, I'm not. I am proposing to the board of governors here.
Yeah,
Each one of us needs to choose 3 actors, 3 favorite actors, and then choose one. This one was easy. This one wasn't that difficult.
This one wasn't that difficult. However, listen,
yes. Give me Meryl Streep, Julianne Moore, and Kate Blanchett, and then you will see me going crazy.
Mladen,
but
you know me though. You know what I enjoy. I enjoy a few things, but very core elements. I enjoy family, love, laughter. I was about to say living there just to do the love, life, live joke, but no. Newcastle United, Ryan Gosling, the movies of Denis Villeneuve and Christopher Nolan, and I like causing people not pain, but discomfort.
This is why dictatorship never works.
I am a cunt at heart. Yeah.
This is why dictatorship never works.
Now,
this is why
it's falling. You don't get to choose.
Yes.
Dictatorship.
It was wonderful, and yeah, Paul Dano.
And you have now given Paul Dano his 4th vote for the evening, so it currently stands at 4 votes for Dano, 2 for Sandler, 2 for Sean Astin. Now, we have 2 people who haven't voted yet. 3 people who haven't voted yet. I'm going to go to Tracy next, and then Kit. FBL. Sorry, you might have disappeared just as I was speaking about you last time. DM me or anyone else in here if you know Paul. DM Paul, he'll tell you how to play the game. But I think you've got it. Grab a mic if you can. But if you can't grab a mic, put it in the chat. Put it in the chat, and someone help me read it out. Admin. But yeah, nice to have you along, Tracy, my dear.
Yeah.
Begin.
Okay, so Sean Astin is out for me.
Now, okay, so Lord of the Rings not your thing.
No, I've never read the book. I also have no intentions to. It's just way too long of a book for me.
I think
I've never been into the film.
Even people who love Lord of the Rings, if they haven't read the books, people who have read the books, when they say to them, "Have you read the books?" "No, but I love the movies." They never go, "Oh, you should read the books," because even they know in their heart of hearts, it's not that fun an experience reading.
That's like a learning English.
Why?
It's learning English. It's a English lesson. It's basically. I've never learned more words than when I read The Lord of the Rings.
It's hard.
Why you should not read the book?
You should.
But here's the thing. I tried to watch the first one. I couldn't even get 30 minutes in without having to turn it off. That's the thing.
Okay, so it's not for you. All right, that's
look.
easy. That's
for example, Harry Potter is a book. It's better than the movie.
Well, see, here's the thing. I grew up on Harry Potter, and I also read the books, and the films are masterpieces, in my opinion.
Okay.
So maybe it's tone. Maybe it's
something else. I think it might be the tone, honestly.
And again, we go back to that thing of it taking when dramas or fantasy, specifically sci-fi or fantasy, when they take themselves seriously, they run this very, very thin line of tipping over because you need to take it seriously. Otherwise, people who love the original, the core text, are going to go, "What the fuck are you doing? Don't be glib. Don't fuck around with what I love." But at the same time, it depends on what you're adapting, because if you're adapting books that were written in the 1930s and putting that story on screen in the early 2000s, that's a big jump. Something like, Dune actually is a similar sort of thing. Anyway, I digress. We're losing Sean Astin out of these 3.
Yeah. So
let me very quickly. Let me say hi to Drew. Drew, if you can grab a mic. Just request. This is the game. There are 3 actors. If you look in the nest, you'll see it. There are 3 actors you got to choose from. Who's the first one? Sean Astin.
Yeah.
Adam Sandler or Paul Dano. The 2 that you lose, every movie is permanently deleted. So which of these three has the movies that you can't live without? Now, Tracy couldn't give a fuck for all of the Oscars, all of the awards that Peter Jackson won.
I mean, dear God, that night. I mean, let's not even get into it, please.
Listen, they deserve that, and I won't hear otherwise. They did deserve it. It may not be your cup of tea. We're coming back to the Ed Sheeran argument, okay? Listen, if you don't like Ed Sheeran, that's fine.
Whoa, I love Ed Sheeran, but
if you say he's shit, you can go fuck yourself, all right? Because you're
yeah, that's fair.
Because he's clearly not shit. It may not be your cup of tea. Anyway, I digress. Sean Astin's gone. That leaves us the Sandman and Dano.
Yes. So here's where it got interesting, because I do love a couple of Paul Dano performances. The Batman, There Will Be Blood, The Fabelmans, even though many people didn't give a shit for that movie, I actually didn't mind it.
Weird one, The Fabelmans. Weird one. It really kind of polarized people, didn't it?
Here.
I mean, I still haven't seen it. I haven't seen it because Ryla watched it and she hated it, but that doesn't really say much because we had very different opinions on movies. But other people I know were lukewarm on it. But I do know other people whose opinions I trust, and they fucking raved about The Fabelmans.
Right. So, like I said, it got close, but then there is, out of these two, there is someone who has a 1-2 punch that has stayed, that are two classics, and for that they easily get the win. So every once in a while we get two actors that are just good in everything they do, like Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone, or
Andrew Garfield and Florence Pugh.
Right. Yeah. So the 1-2 punch I talked to here is Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore.
Now,
it is kind of a 1-2 punch with The Wedding Singer and 50 First Dates.
I think you and Paul and Helen need to form a closer connection. I think you need to talk more. I think you need more DMs. I think just start sending each other gifts from The Wedding Singer. That's a good way to start.
Yeah, and for that alone is where I kind of have to drop Dano and give Sandler the win here.
Sandman has another vote. Tracy's gone for the Sand. Now, of his oeuvre, oh, look at me, I know a word. Of his filmography, quickly, without thinking, top 3. Don't look, just think.
50 First Dates.
Yeah.
Wedding Singer. Oof. And I'm gonna kind of switch it up and say Anger Management, because I kind of laughed my ass off.
I spoke to Fahad about this earlier. He does have. He's got that early set of core comedies. So Wedding Singer, Little Nicky, Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore, and a couple of others. All right, he has that core kind of foundation that he built on, and then he started going into weird territory.
Yeah.
He did, didn't he? And not all of it worked. Now, anger management works for you.
It does, honestly. Just because the hilarious connection between him and Jack Nicholson. I don't know why, but it kind of worked for me.
It really does. I mean, I spent the first time I watched that movie. Do you know when you do that thing where you're watching it through the character's eyes and you start and if the movie involves the main character being angry and frustrated for 75-80% of the movie, you start to attach your frustration to the movie itself. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
Like, can Jack Nicholson stop being a fucking prick to Adam Sandler now, please? that sort of thing.
Basically.
Sort of thing. You can't... it's only years and years later that you end up being able to take a step back and go, oh, shit, we got to see Jack Nicholson fucking cook in an Adam Sandler movie? Basically. All right. So the Sandman is now pulled us to within 1 of Dano, who is still in the front. We've got Drew, who's here. I'm going to go to Kit next. And FBL Toffees, if you want to grab a mic or put it in the chat. Oh, I need to check the chat. All right, we'll admin later. Kit, my dear.
Hello.
How easy was this?
It was not hard-ish. It was a little difficult because I do have, a nostalgic connection to one, but I think I would have to
Who's the
choose.
easiest one? Who's going first?
Oh, Paul Dano's going first.
Oh, you just backhanded him out the
Yeah, he's
door.
going first.
Ba-boom.
Yeah. Yeah,
So the Batman,
he's new
fine with that?
school. He can go. He
You're
can
fine
go.
with
Yeah, but the
losing
Batman
the
can go.
Batman.
The Batman can go because
Kit.
I think for me, I can say, oh no, it's a masterpiece, whatever, but I'm thinking about like rewatchability. I have
Yeah.
never gone back to rewatch the Batman. That's
Now,
not the Batman that I've gone to rewatch when I rewatch it. Like it's, I go to the Nolans or I go way back to like, um Michael Keaton and even Val Kilmer and George Clooney before I go to the
I mean, I
Batman.
wouldn't go that far, but
But I mean, when you go for like rewatchability, because sometimes things are like you don't, they're like so dreary and whatever. Like I don't know, I'm into the more fantastical, you
me too.
know, comic and stuff like that. So that's where I go. So
Yeah.
Paul Dano, he can go. Bye.
Okay. All right.
Kit, I love
Kit.
you. I love
Yes.
you.
Kit, do you know what, Kit? Let's do it. Let's do another 30 seconds because I was the same. I didn't
Yeah,
get. I the first hour of the Batman, I was thinking, this is brilliant, and I love this because it's giving Robert Pattinson a place to cook, and yes,
yeah,
he's doing great. And then the rest of the movie happened, and by the end of it, I was like, fuck, that wasn't worth 2 hours and
yeah,
45 minutes.
yeah.
Jesus
I've given my
Christ.
life away. Yeah,
But that's just
a
me
little bit.
personally. I know there are people who would die for the Batman. They are
Yeah.
big fans. I
Well,
appreciate
Kyle's
that.
one of them, but
He
we're
is. We're all our own people.
yes, absolutely.
So Dano is gone.
Yes.
The Sandman and
Bye.
Astin.
So here's the thing.
Hmm.
I often rewatch Lord of the Rings.
Comfort
And
movie?
so, yeah, it is. It's specifically the Two Towers because it's the best one, and I won't be taking questions.
No,
But I
that's fair
think Two
enough.
Towers is the best one. So I do. I rewatch it frequently, and I think that for me, it's just I love Adam Sandler, but when I think about how many of his films I've rewatched recently,
Mm.
there aren't very many.
Did you, when
Uh,
you grew up, what were your comedies when you were a kid? When you were like around about 9, 10, coming up to teenage years, what were your comedy movies? Do you remember?
oh gosh, I'm way. Well, are we talking about like
Safe space?
Disney? Like I remember like the heavyweights
Mm-hmm.
back in the day. I definitely did the Adam Sandler, did the Eddie Murphys, I did the Rush Hours and all that. Of course, that's a little bit
Rent a Ghost?
sooner.
Do you
Huh?
remember what was the Bill Cosby movie?
Oh,
Was it
Ghost Dad. Yes, I
Ghost
remember
Dad?
that. I remember Ghost Dad. I remember
Listen,
Drop Dead Fred, Clifford, like all of those, right? And so it's like I haven't rewatched a lot of Adam Sandler recently, but I do quote it a lot. Like specifically like Wedding
hmm
Singer, like to my sister when like she didn't like I didn't do something she asked me to do. I'm like, but they were cones, like just stuff like that. So this one is hard. And then I looked at Sean Astin's filmography and I'm like, well, he was in a couple of Adam Sandler movies.
so you do get to
So
keep Click,
I get to keep Click and I get to
and
keep
50
51st
First Dates.
Dates, you
Yeah,
know. Uh
yeah.
so
This sounds like you're going Astin.
I'm gonna see, but I did just rewatch Anger Management. So that's the thing. I did just rewatch Anger Management. I did just rewatch
Tracy's
Just
ears
Go
just.
With It. Because I think he's a good example of how you can still do certain comedy and it can still work even in this generation. I think we've gotten to a place where some of the comedies that we used to have we don't get anymore because everyone is so careful and so worried about how it'll be interpreted or taken, like we're not going to get another Tropic Thunder because everyone's scared to go there, but that's what made it so funny and that's why it's so beloved, right? Like when's the last time you seen a movie like that get an Oscar nom for a
Uh,
performance? And so
I'm clipping this, by the way. I'm going to make a video of this anyway. But this is the clip that I'm clipping so that I can show everyone else because fuck me, did you just put your finger on the pulse of things at the moment. Absolutely, they are not making movies like that anymore, and
They're
absolutely, you are
scared.
right. And there is
Yeah.
something to be said for. And we talked about when we did the long spaces at the beginning years ago, and we did the whole weekends on Spielberg movies and Cameron movies and Fincher movies and things. And when we looked at those people, and we looked at people like Denzel Washington, specifically actors of color. When we looked at their filmographies, they were doing 3 times the number of movies that white leading men or women were doing at the same time. They were having to do much, much more. Now, hang on, I've got myself lost here in terms of the point. Where was I going with this? Bring me back. What are we talking about?
Comedies and the ability to do them like they used to. The raunchiness, the subject
there is
matter.
there is something about Adam Sandler that I love, which is it's kind of pure and working class, which is he just makes art. He makes his art. There's a speech by Neil Gaiman, which is fantastic, which talks about in times of trouble, in times of strife, and when things don't make sense, what should you do? Just make art. Doesn't matter if it's bad art. Doesn't matter if it's funny art. Just make art. Just make art. And there's something about Adam Sandler, as you say there, that I associate with the best. Now, I wouldn't call him a craftsman, but he's not. He doesn't give a flying fuck. His brand is his brand, and he makes
Exactly his
and
brand.
some of it is shit, but some of it isn't.
Like Little Nicky is not for everybody, but it's so on brand for him. And
Listen,
even the films that have come out by his friends or other people in the business, it's all a part of that one brand of comedy. And he's carved his own space, and that's why whenever we do get a comedy that's actually funny these days, it's like a surprise because they've carved out either their own or they weren't afraid to go there. Like comedy's supposed to push boundaries. You
Yeah.
know, it's not for everyone. There's different forms of it. It's very subjective, but you'll never find your audience unless you go there, and everything is so copy and paste for like the time instead of being like genuine or coming from an authentic place, so it doesn't land like it used to.
I wish I could articulate this, because what I end up doing is going. Thank you, Kit. I mean, it's nice for me to have my thoughts in someone else. Perfect. All right. So hang on. Where are we? Where am I putting your vote? Sandman is not staying here. We're getting rid of Sean. Or we're keeping Sean.
You know what? No, because I just did this whole speech, I'm going to keep Adam Sandler, and I'm going to get rid of Goonies and Lord of the Rings. And I'll just have to, rewatch other sci-fi movies. I did just start Star Wars, so maybe it'll fill the gap.
All right, I don't have the time or I'm going to take that statement and we're going to unpack it at a later date. Okay. First of all, that you're starting Star Wars.
Yeah.
And
I was a Trekkie,
Bruce,
Hey, Kit,
Adam Sandler has another vote.
Hey, Kit, if you need a podcast to help you like compartmentalize all your Star Wars thoughts, I have one to show you. I have one.
I mean, you don't have one. I mean, you got a series, brother.
Yes, I have a whole series on the George Lucas filmography.
Oh, nice.
I will put it in the.
Stick it in the link. Yes, please,
yes,
Kale.
I will.
Yeah, Kale's pod. Is it from the top or is it the Youth Critic?
It's from the top, the Ultimate Filmmakers Retrospective. I will put the link in the description just for you, Kit.
Stick it in the nest, please. Kale has dedicated time and other people's emotions and his own emotions.
Yes.
I mean, that is a lot to go through. That is a lot of lore and history to go
through.
Oh
my God.
Kale,
yes.
Hello. I haven't said hi. Hello, brother.
Hi.
I'm going to come to you next. I know you know the rules of this game. Drew is the next person I need to speak to, though. Hi, Drew.
Okay, good. I'm gonna climb back out. Just wanted to pop in for a second.
Oh, okay. Give me your. Do you have time to hold for a few minutes and then give me your vote?
Yes, of course.
Or do you need to? Excellent, excellent. Drew, bonjour.
Yes.
Bon
How you
Jovi.
doing? How's
So,
everybody?
of these three that I have given you, Sean Astin's movies, Adam Sandler's movies, and Paul Dano's movies, is there one which is easier than the other two to just go, okay, I can live without those?
I didn't hear them all, so can you repeat them, please?
Okay, sure. So Paul Dano, if you love Paul Dano movies, or if you were thinking about losing him, you would lose movies such as Looper, Prisoners, 12 Years a Slave, Night and Day, Little Miss Sunshine, There Will Be Blood, and The Batman. All right? Others such as Swiss Army Man and Okja and a number of others. Dumb Money, which I was a huge fan of. But if you lose him, those are the movies that you're going to lose. If you lose Adam Sandler, you're losing every single Adam Sandler movie. I don't know if I need to go through those. Sean Astin is an interesting case because he's got two things going for him. He's got the Goonies in his back pocket. How'd you like me now? But he's also got the Lord of the Rings. So, of those three, the game here is, what are the movies that you can't live without? Which are the ones which speak to you the most?
I am not a fan of Adam Sandler, so I would cut him.
Goodbye to the Sandman.
Yeah,
Okay, so then it comes down to Dano and Sean Astin. Are you a Lord of the Rings fan?
I'm not. I've seen them. I like them. I don't know if I'm a huge fan or anything.
Which of the two? Who's got the movies that make you think I don't know if I could live in a world without that movie?
Oh man.
I'm trying to come up with something like, I'm trying to come up with a curveball for you, but Sean Astin is actually not helping me because he's been in a lot of shit movies. Yeah, Little Miss Sunshine, There Will Be Blood. You're going to have to make a decision. Which one are you going to keep?
I'm going to keep Dano.
Okay. Is there a specific movie that tipped you over the edge?
Was it Prisoners? Is that the one?
Yes. Denis Villeneuve o'clock. I don't think there's anyone in here that I need to do this for. However, let's all have a laugh at dumb Americans. Sorry, I don't mean to be, and I'm not saying that about anyone here, but the number of times I have heard Denis Villeneuve's last name being pronounced wrongly over the last week is beginning to hurt me. I have heard Villeneuve too many times. All right. And as someone who doesn't find the joke about Nigella fucking saying microwave, I don't find that funny. This is a different level. All right, but we've got another vote for Dano. Who is last? Has anyone not gone? FBL Toffees. Do I have a vote in the chat from Toffees? What's Toffee saying? Dude, send me a DM or something. I kind of need a casting vote here. Kale stuck. Oh, there we go. Let me stick that in the link in the nest. All right, Dano's got another vote. Kale, my friend, I think you are bringing things to a close. You know the three for tonight?
Remind me one more time, because I've been getting hints and clues.
No worries. So Sean Astin. So we're talking Goonies, Toy Soldiers, the whole Lord of the Rings, first three, and a few others. You get to keep 50 First Dates, because the next person is Adam Sandler. So Adam Sandler is your second, and then your third one is Paul Dano. So Prisoners, There Will Be Blood, Love and Mercy, Little Miss Sunshine. Someone help me out. Swiss Army Man,
Prisoners, Swiss Army Man, The Fabelmans,
a Looper as well. I think people, I haven't talked enough about. We haven't really got time for it, but Looper would give me pause for thought about losing that one. But what about you? Of those three, so Sean Astin,
well,
Adam Sandler. Paul Dano.
You made a good point that if I kept Sean Astin, I get to keep some Adam Sandler movies, but I'm gonna pivot
Pivot.
I'm gonna pivot as Robert Downey Jr. would say in Oppenheimer.
Pivot.
We're gonna pivot and we're gonna lose Adam Sandler.
Ooh.
We'll lose Adam Sandler.
Okay,
I
so
don't
there are
have.
movies that. There are movies by Dano. There are movies by Dano and movies by Sean Astin that you value more than the entire catalogue of
This is true.
of Adam Sandler.
This
Okay, dude.
this is painfully true. I like Adam Sandler, but I'm definitely losing because I don't have the nostalgia that a lot of Gen Xers or a lot of or older millennials have of Adam Sandler. Not saying he hasn't been good lately. I'm just saying,
Dude, I'm gonna choose to take offense, but I'm really not that committed to it, honestly.
but now I have.
I love Adam Sandler. I don't get upset if people don't like Adam Sandler, though. I understand it.
But I will say now I have to choose between the Lord of the Rings or the great filmography of Paul Dano.
Oh, now, but when you say the great filmography of Paul Dano, what do you mean by that? What are the ones which are your core? Which are the ones which are making you think I can't lose him?
I mean, The Fabelmans means a lot to me. I love, I'm an obsessive Batman fan, as some people know. So, and I actually do love the Batman, all 3 hours of it. But I will give Kit this: I haven't seen it I haven't seen it all the way through in almost 2 years. So I will give her that. But I do love putting it on for an hour or so and then falling asleep to it sometimes because there's so much of the
I
vibes.
know what you mean. Mm-hmm. Movies are much more than just one thing sometimes, and we've talked and we've a number of characters in here. Listen, Alfie fucking watches what's it called? Was it Funny People? No, what's it called?
I mean,
what's the
that's one of them.
I mean, he watches the most horrific fucking movies as comfort movies, and I kind of get it. Because what I've been going through this weird stage of putting on Oppenheimer before I go to bed, and
that's insane.
I don't know how to explain that. It is. So that, yeah. There's no judgment.
Okay, can I have can I do the scoreboard?
Can you do a scoreboard?
Can I see the scoreboard?
Absolutely not. I'm sorry, Kevin. You always do this, and what I love is that you are consistent. Is that you always do this? You used to do this. This is the first time in a long time I've run this game, and you used to do this. You would come in late and want to know what the scoreboard was. No, I can't do that.
You know my trickery.
Hang on. You said no to Sandler, didn't you?
No to Sandler. So does it matter?
It kind of does. Yeah, it kind of does matter which way you go. It really does matter which way you go. Emma, by the way, hi. If you want to grab a mic quickly, we're playing 2toBoot. I'll explain it in a second. But things are very things are poised quite precariously at the moment. Sean Astin, Adam Sandler, or Paul Dano, two of them are getting all of their movies permanently deleted. Kale is about to make a very important decision between the movies of Paul Dano, and Sean Astin. Dano.
It's okay. It's okay. The right pronunciation of Denis Villeneuve is Denis Villeneuve.
But
I'm kidding.
It's Dennis. I think you'll find it's Dennis Villeneuve.
Dennis Villeneuve. Dennis Villeneuve.
Dennis Villeneuve.
The Villeneuve is German. It's Will of the Villeneuve.
It is killing me. Speaking of killing me,
okay. This is so controversial what I'm about to do.
What's the movie that is tipping you over the edge?
I mean, it's stuff like Looper, it's stuff like Prisoners, it's stuff like it's stuff like the Batman, it's stuff like it's the
Variety.
Fablemans. It's I mean, I've not seen Little Miss Sunshine in about 1,500 years. So
Mm-hmm.
so I don't have any recollection of that movie. But I don't. I mean, it's There Will Be Blood. It's I did not see Love and Mercy, even though it did come to the Atlanta Film Festival. Um, you know what? Oh, fuck. We'll just, We'll go with Paul Dano just because.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, Sean Astin. It would be this decision would be so much easier if Sean
He
Astin
didn't
was
have
not in the Lord of the Rings.
exactly, and that's why you know how and why I do this. Cunt, because I'm a bit of a cunt. I can't help it. I wanted to put something in that was going to trouble people, and I knew that Lord of the Rings or a big franchise was going to throw people off. So I think. Listen, you have gone with Paul Dano. It's given him 5 votes to Adam Sandler's 4 and 2 to Sean Astin. We're not quite done, but thank you, Kale. I'll come back to you. Monique. Hi, Monique.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Hi.
I was pressing the wrong button. Hello.
Hi. I will follow you in a second, but I need to do that thing where I unfollow people so I can follow people again because Elon Musk is a prick. I'm not sure if you know the game. Very, very quickly, of the 3, you've got to get rid of 2. The 2 that you lose, every movie they've ever been in is permanently deleted. So the name of the game is who has got the movies that you can't live without. So you know the 3? You know the 3 we're talking about tonight?
Paul Dano, Sean Astin, and Adam Sandler.
Now, of those 3, which one is the easiest for you to dispose of?
Sean Astin, and I'm not thinking twice about it.
Now, so no Lord of the Rings for Monique.
No.
Monique and orcs do not go together. Sorry,
nope.
Orcs. Yeah, sorry.
And what's funny is that like I play D&D with a lot of people, and all of them are saying like, how have you not seen
what's
Lord of
wrong
the Rings?
with you?
It's one of those things now. It's like people have asked me so much to watch it that now I'm refusing to watch it out of spite.
Now it's not a phenomenon. It's not a phenomenon, but it is something that we all experience, isn't it? When someone goes, "Oh, dude, you got to watch that," it's like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah. Now, I'm just now because like it was on by accident. The first one was on by accident. I like Tracy. I couldn't get through it. I couldn't do it. I tried. I literally tried.
Right?
I couldn't get through it.
Monique, can I ask you what about Dune?
What about
not even just the new one, but the first one? Is that your sort of thing?
Oh, Dune?
Yeah.
I do. Just out of morbid curiosity, I do want to watch Dune.
Monique, I'll tell you this: it took my sister to get me to watch Dune, and then I went to see Dune Part 2.
I think this is what I'm trying to get to. Is I think perhaps the thing that might switch. The interesting thing is that you play D&D and you don't. That's really interesting that you don't.
Hey guys, I gotta take off. I'm sorry.
No worries, bro. No worries. Come again.
Right. I'll see you. Thank you.
All the best. All the best. What's interesting though, Monique, that is it perhaps that there aren't any jokes. There's not a lot of laughter in Lord of the Rings, and there's not a lot of laughter in Dune either. I mean, there are bagpipes at one point. I'm pretty sure, but I think there are 6 jokes in Dune. What I'm trying to get to is it perhaps those types of franchises that take themselves really seriously? Is that a turnoff for you? Do you think, or
no? That's not even it. I think because I grew up in the Harry Potter era, and so like I had that phase of where I was so obsessed with a franchise that I didn't want that I didn't want to get obsessed with another franchisey thing. So it just never got into my radar. And then so finally, like a couple of years later, in my 20s, it was just on, and I'm like, I don't feel like I came onto it a little bit too late, if that makes sense.
It does make sense, and I think you're speaking about something a bit deeper here as well that we've talked about in the past, which is one thing that we forget is that in terms of I don't want to use the term big data because it's not 2010, but it is widely published, and the neurologists and people who understand the way that human beings work and the way the brain works, there is one thing they all agree on, which is the amount of input into our daily lives is beyond anything that human beings have been subjected to in the past. The amount of information that we are subjected to, and I think we're now having to kind of blindly in the dark feel around and go, why is it? Why did I not like Lord of the Rings when I'm into D&D? Perhaps, like you just said, is there's only so much. You only have like a capacity that you can't fucking love everything. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
It's like you can't be angry about everything. There are only so many fucks you can give. There is a finite amount. So, and I can completely see that. Something like Harry Potter, that can take up. Like, it would be weird if you were in love with Harry Potter and 3 other franchises at the same time.
Yeah.
I understand that.
Yeah. It just missed me. That's all.
Monique, do you mind if I ask, are you in between 20 and 30, 30 and 40?
I am between 30 and 40.
Between 30 and 40. Are you okay with losing the Goonies? I just need to check.
I'm okay. I am fine with losing the Goonies. As much as I do like the Goonies, I'm completely fine with losing the Goonies.
All right. So listen, Sean Astin is out of the picture. Adam Sandler and Paul Dano.
Yeah. I like Paul Dano. I liked him in.
I hear qualification coming here. Go ahead.
I liked him in the Batman. However, here's the thing with the Batman that I didn't like the Batman, but I do understand. I think I understand why people like it, and I have a theory why there's a certain group of people why they like it.
Okay.
Is that it plays exactly like an Arkham Knight game.
So it's pushing the right buttons in the right order.
Exactly. I think it plays like I'm watching this. I'm like, man, you take this script and make it into an Arkham Knight game. I bet you it would make some money. I can tell you that.
Now, listen. Some people might call your analysis of that cynical. I think it's just normal. I think it's normal in this day and age. I think sometimes I think creators of stories or creators of art forget the audience they're talking to, and often when they're telling a story, sometimes they're telling us stuff that, all right, dude, listen, I already know this. Like, I know where you're going with this, and that is a very, very, it's a very poisonous element to have in a storytelling kind of arc. And I think I'm so glad you specified Arkham and that experience, because I don't think you're alone in thinking that.
Yeah, I think it's like I said, I do like Paul Dano. I think all the movies I've seen, he kind of plays not a squirmy character, but kind of like this like weak kind of dude. And I'm just like, okay, I maybe I just haven't watched enough of his movies.
Have you seen Little Miss Sunshine?
I have seen scenes of him in Little Miss Sunshine. I did like him in that. I did like him in that.
It's the balance. It's the balance, isn't it? I think
Yeah.
sometimes you start to look at, and when we do this, we often go deep into actors' filmographies and start to pick them apart. And sometimes when you do that, there's some really interesting things in terms of, like Paul Dano. I don't think he's getting remembered for his parts, such as in Little Miss Sunshine or the other stuff. He, as you say, he gets. I mean, he's in the Barry Keoghan. He's in the Barry Keoghan category, isn't he?
Yeah.
Shifty motherfucker.
He is in the Barry category. Yeah, and
We've just created it.
Yeah, he's in the Barry category.
We'll call it the Keoghan room, Keoghan corner, which includes actors such as Barry Keoghan, the dude who played Percy in The Green Mile, and a number of other shitheads.
Yeah, it's just like, but you know what? Good on Paul Dano. You getting your paycheck. Get your. If it works for you, it works for you. Get your check. So, and it's funny that I say that, and because the only reason why I'm picking Adam Sandler is I know that he had a spot where it was like, what are you doing? But Kit brought up a very good point that it's his brand of humor. But I recently, because I don't know if you can hear in the background my tiny human, I
just thought you had a really interestingly evolved dog. No, I got kids. They make noise. It's okay.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. So you get it. So okay. So you have kids. Have you watched Leo with them yet?
Now, interestingly, I couldn't get through that. I couldn't get through. Now I could. Now I am here. I am Bill Burr. I am a big Bill Burr fan. Huge Bill Burr fan. I'm a big Adam Sandler fan. What was weird is that I'd tried. First 15 minutes, I couldn't do it. I just couldn't. It felt like the movie was being made for someone else, and that person wasn't me. Like the pace of it, the jokes, everything was just flying past me.
That's fair.
But someone, a critic who works for Empire called Chris Hewitt, incredible critic. He loved it. Now I generally respect his opinion, but he's fucking wrong. But I'm not saying you're wrong. Well, I am saying you're wrong. But you see what I mean? Yeah. People sometimes go off in different directions.
But I think that's completely fair to say, and I think it's very respectful to say, like, hey, this movie just was not for me. I think that's very honorable to say.
So where are we you're putting your name next to, where are we going?
I'm going the Sandman, and I'm going to mention another movie that nobody's mentioned. Well, two movies actually. Uncut Gems and Rain on Me.
Now, I'm so glad you said Rain on Me. We talked about Uncut Gems, and that's a weird one because I think just based on the premise of the game, if you are in a position where you're like, I can't live without watching Uncut Gems, that you need to see a therapist. I think there needs to be some wider conversations. You need to reach out to people. That's not a good place to be in.
No.
But you said Rain on Me. Mm-hmm. Now, Don Cheadle, isn't it?
Yes.
That's the Don Cheadle movie. Yes. After 9/11, it's a great movie. Little heartbreaker.
Yeah.
He has that in his locker.
Yeah.
It's a nice thing to have.
I didn't want to mention the movies already that were mentioned already, and so I wanted to throw. I needed to throw that one in there.
I know what you mean. But this is the thing. The game changes you. This game changes you because I'm very, very strict. The rules of the game are very simple. It's about permanent deletion. I am taking away the movies of the people that you say you're going to lose.
Yeah.
So I need people to pay attention to that one. Emma, can I try and get you back as a speaker if you got a second? Monique, you have just put a spanner in my works. That's a phrase over here. Sean Astin.
We call it a wrench.
A wrench. You whacked a wrench in my. Okay, let's just not freestyle those kind of sentences. Sean Astin, as much as everyone loved him, Ryan and Helen included, the Lord of the Rings has not. It hasn't worked with the majority of people that have come in here. There have been many people who've just gone, do you know what? Nah, it's fine, or not for me. I think the diehards, Sean Astin has caused people problems, but only 2 people voted for him tonight. Adam Sandler has 5 votes. Fahad, Paolo, Tracy, Kit, and Monique, and Paul Dano, Matthew, Anna, Carly, Maladin, and Kale also have 5 votes. So Emma, can you invite to speak? I need you. Emma, you kind of need to settle this for us.
Hey, while we wait for Emma, I have a question.
What you got?
Does Dano go in the Kyogen corner, or does Kyogen and Dano go in Nicholas Holt corner?
Nicholas Holt doesn't belong in Kyogen corner.
No, he doesn't.
I think sometimes when Kyogen corner is having its annual get together, he would get an invite. I think Nicholas Holt would get an invite, but I don't think he lives there. I don't think he belongs there. He's not. Now, listen, again, I know what you're talking about. You're talking about, The Menu and The Great. If anyone hasn't seen The Great, oh my God, fuck me, he is so good in that. And he is fucked up, and that's fucked up. And anyway, Emma, can you?
Mad Max.
Oh, look at me! I got good points. Rude, dickhead. Oh, and we've just lost Emma. Elon Musk is. I don't want to hurt him. I do want to hurt him. Marco.
We dream about it.
Conversations with Robbie Sherman or Emma or FPL Toffee. Someone grab a mic and bring this to a close. All right. Conversations with Robbie Sherman. Is it Robbie Sherman?
Yeah.
Howdy.
Yeah.
How you doing? Brother? Okay.
Yeah. Don't worry. I don't have any Frenchies or anything you got to worry about.
This is the game. It's quite simple, right? There's 3 actors.
Okay.
Sean Astin. You know who Sean Astin is?
The guy from Rudy.
There you go. Adam Sandler.
Okay.
And Paul Dano.
Right? Okay.
Now, I need you to get rid of 2 of them. You're going to get rid of 2 of them. The 2 that you lose, all of their movies that they've ever been in, are going to get deleted. All right? So which of those 3, Sean Astin, Adam Sandler, and Paul Dano, who has got the movies that you can't live without?
I feel like you really stacked the deck in the worst possible way. Because here's the argument. For Sandler, you have about 20 years of really bad comedy, but maybe, on average, like a good movie every 4 to 5 years. You get your Uncut Gems in there later on, you get some Spanglish. I still don't know if that's actually equal to Paul Dano's output as an actor. Paul Dano.
But if I stuck you on a desert island, all right, and I said to you, you just choose between these 3 DVDs, and you're getting one. You're either getting Lord of the Rings. Let's go with Two Towers. You're either getting The Batman, or you're getting Happy Gilmore.
I'm getting The Batman is what I'm getting. Oh God.
Now expand that thinking. Now, are you okay getting rid of Adam Sandler movies? Are you okay getting rid of Lord of the Ring movies?
Yes, undoubtedly. I've been watching Lord of the Rings since I was 10. I'm sick of Lord of the Rings at this point. The Batman hasn't worn me down after the last 20 years. My dad is a massive Lord of the Rings fan. I don't hate it, but I've also gotten to the point to where it's like I can't take any more of it in. Yeah. Just too goddamn much for the last few years.
Dad, I don't give a fuck that Pippin wouldn't have done that in the original series. Yeah,
I'm a fan of The Hobbit, and they failed in the Hobbit movies, so that's also a mark against that franchise.
So do me a favor, pick one of these 3. Which one are you picking?
I'm picking Paul Dano.
Poor Dano with the win. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to bring it to an end there. Guys, follow everyone in here. We'll do another one of these in the week. We also do movie ranking. We do top 5 sci-fi movies, top 5 action movies, blah 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 blah. If you look on my profile, there's a link to the YouTube page which has got some of our back catalogue. If you haven't heard us before, there's loads of stuff. I'll be doing more video stuff as we go along. The thing about 2toBoot is that it was a crowning jewel for the movie ranking, and it was such a fun game because it kind of defined who we are as a community. And the thing is, if anyone doesn't understand this, oh wait, Emma, does it work? Does it work?
Hey, by the way, I just want to say we don't do something so generalized like top 5 action movies. We've also done top 5 hats.
We did. One of the best spaces, 3.5 hours. 3.5 hours. People came to this space in their droves. Hundreds of people came to this space to talk about their favorite movies that have hats in them. On that note, Emma, please speak. Please let it work. Emma. No! Okay, every time Emma goes to speak, she gets demoted to being a listener.
Oh,
it's really not working for me. Right, we'll make it work. Anyway, I'm gonna bring it to a close. The reason why we call it the Robin Williams Hall of Fame, 2toBoot always brings out one winner. It's an interesting case. I'll throw a little bit of folklore in. Simon Pegg does very well in 2toBoot. Simon Pegg is hard to fucking beat. We have put Simon Pegg up against Pacino and De Niro, and he has come out on top. But there is one person who never loses and has never lost. There are obviously abominations, Ryan, who's not here, and a number of other people who don't agree with this, but the science always works. If you put Robin Williams in this format, he does not lose. Robin Williams does not lose 2toBoot. He has never lost 2toBoot. We've put him up against directors. We put Robin Williams up against the movies of Martin Scorsese and Francis Ford Coppola. People still chose Robin Williams. Robin Williams doesn't lose. And that means that the winners go into the Robin Williams Hall of Fame. There's a whole other layer in terms of champion of champions. But listen, for now, I'm going to leave it there. All of you, thank you so much for coming again to the movie ranking. I've been your host, Skadooosch. I do this thing. Wait, Emma, we're going to try it one more time. Emma, we're going to try. Come on. Otherwise, I'm going to fucking Elon Musk's house. Go on, speak. Emma, go on. Unmute yourself. Unmute. And it does it.
I think she is speaking. We just can't hear her.
No, every time it comes up, she gets accepted as a speaker and then unmutes and it goes down to listener. It's killing me.
But I mean, I'm pretty sure she chose Sandler.
Oh, okay. All right, guys, I'm going to leave it there. I love you all. Fahad, I'm going to leave it with this. If anyone, I haven't told everyone about this yet, but I've come up with this idea called the movie mansion. And yes, it rhymes with ranking, and I am lazy. But yes, the movie mansion. If Skadooosch owned a movie mansion, and we all know what it would look like, Wu-Tang Cribs episode, that's what I'm saying. The movie mansion is a fictitious and complex place. There are many places in it. There are places for you and there are places for me. But my idea about the movie mansion is that you could have any room and any room could be your own. And if you were to have your own room, what would your room be in the movie mansion? What I'm offering people is a chance to come and I'll help host and I'll help promote but essentially host your own show. Make your own show, your own concept, if it was your room. Fahad and I have had an idea about comedy and kitchens, and I think we need to work on that this week. Do we not, brother? I really, really want to do that.
100%.
There will be you can go and see Alfie up in the attic, weirdo, or I think Matthew was talking about an animation attic. I have Tracy is talking about doing the Cine Rose Garden. Where we
isn't Alfie more of a basement person?
Now, again, he's a very close friend of mine, and I've been very mean to him in the past in a loving sense. I didn't want to just go, Alfie, we're sticking you in the basement. You know what I mean? It's It's a bit rude. But I mean,
but the attic is
yes.
cold.
I mean, he does
It's
belong
cold
in
in
the
the
basement.
attic.
Yeah, but I mean, it could be like a Home Alone basement. It could be like a Stranger Things kind of basement. Very different types of basement. Anyway,
Do you know what kind of attic we have in America?
This isn't like the 60s. Like people renovate their attics all the time.
Exactly. Listen,
they can. Yeah.
Well,
Have you ever watched HGTV?
no, Monique, if you've never met Alfie, he is more like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre
yeah, you
basement.
want to keep him in the basement. Like he's the guy who watches the horror movies for he goes to
I
sleep
mean, that's
watching.
pretty mean, but
Wait, listen, Suspiria was his comfort movie. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, it is a comforting movie.
Is it though?
Well,
Is it though? Just one of okay.
It's a nice movie about death.
A nice movie about death. So's Coco. Very different movies. On that bombshell.